May it please the court. Counsel, members of the jury. The hardest thing a criminal defense attorney can do after a finding of guilt of his client is addressing a jury, obviously, in the punishment stage. But in doing that, the first thing I want to do is thank you for your deliberations and guilt innocence. We asked you to carefully consider the evidence in this case, and you took your time. It showed that you did that. You sent out notes, you asked for exhibits, and that showed that you were looking at both sides, that you were examining the case. You didn't have to do that, not all juries do. We appreciate that you took the time to do that. You didn't see it our way, but it's in your hands in this case, and we appreciate you took the time and took your oath seriously. Now we reach the punishment stage. And in Texas it's unique because most states a judge will assess punishment, but Texas we let juries do that. And the legislature for the crime of murder sets a very wide range of punishment. Very wide range. Minimum 5 years for intentionally killing someone, committing murder, all the way to 99 years or life, and anywhere in between. Now in this case, when we reach the punishment stage, the rules also allow the state of Texas to put in any offense, any bad acts they so choose that are relevant to this case for your consideration. They've done that. They put in some text strings, they put in some things from social media. In this day and age, when we have cell phones right at our disposal, when we can say things at a whim on whatever we're feeling that day, I would say that anyone in this courtroom obviously is going to regret something they say at some point in time in their life. What I want you to do is this. That may be one snapshot in time during a day, however Guyger. But when you deliberate this case, I'll ask you to look at the whole picture, the entire life of what you know in this case. Because the prosecution has alluded and will continue to argue that this true character is seen in some of these texts. She's cold-hearted, she is callous, she's a racist. I'll ask you to look at her whole life. When you start to consider that, I'd like you to look at LaWanda Clark. How Amber Guyger treated her. 2017, when she was in that crack house, Amber Guyger came and found her. Said, "You don't fit the profile here. What are you doing here?" Kept coming back to her. And finally went to her and said, "You've got two things can happen. You're either going to continue down this road to drugs, or you're going to get a ticket out of here." She gave her a ticket to go to a drug court. And LaWanda told you that what that made her feel. The first time in a long time she felt human again. She had hope that this person, this officer, would take interest in her. And it changed her life. She made it through that court. She made it through the program. She sought Amber Guyger out, wanted her to come to a graduation, and they're both excited about it. And she's sober today. When you want to think about how callous and cruel she may be, think about that and how she's touched a life. Think about her friend Kate, who she met when they were both working at Fridays. They worked hard because they had dreams, and they got to know each other better. They worked 5 or 6 years together. You get to know a person when you become close and click, like Kate said they did. You spend every day working together. You talk about their dreams. They became good friends. That continued. She told about one story when Amber drove all the way from Forney to Mansfield and then up to Frisco to help her get a changing table because she was expecting her firstborn. That the table dropped and Amber went and got it. It's just a little story, but little stories tell you about character. When you consider how callous and cruel, or if you believe she's a racist, think about that. Or our friends Maribel and Brenda, you've noticed in 7th grade, 9th grade, became close and best friends going to school, remained so afterwards. She started a mariachi band together. She embraced their culture. Close friends. They say they can trust her more than anyone. Think about that when you're considering how cruel and heartless, or if you believe she's truly a racist. I want you to think about also what her family said. They're a close family. Amber was always an energetic, young, and bubbly child. We know that when she was 6, she was sexually abused. We know that she had some counseling. Her sister told us that she kept that inside. Maybe when Maribel said she didn't think Amber thought she deserved baby love, that's what she was talking about, effects of that. But she never wanted that to hold her back. She kept it inside and kept moving forward and had goals. She worked hard since she was 16. She wanted to be financially independent. She wanted to meet her goals, put herself through school. She'd work 40, 60 hours a week to achieve that, support herself. She's always been close to her mother, who you can see is not in the best of health. She checks on her as a good daughter will. Not all daughters do that. Not all sons do that. But she does when you think about her character and what her true character is. Please reflect upon that. Reflect upon those friends when they say she's the best friend they've had, the protector, the always there for them, always ready to surprise them, doing small things for them without being asked. Those people can judge character. They can judge a good person. The punishment range, as I told you, is very wide. The legislature, for intentionally killing someone, for murder, put it as low as 5 and up to 99 years or life. Why did they do that? I believe they did that because they recognize that every fact situation is different. Every murder is different. Everyone is unique, and they wanted a jury to have a full range of punishment to decide what is appropriate in each and every individual case. Some cases should be decided on the very high end, and some cases on the low end. What do you think they were thinking about when they thought of the high end? Were they thinking of someone who has dedicated their life and tried to do the right thing, worked hard, been a public servant, who went home one day without any intention in their mind of wanting to take a life, just wanted to go home, and they made a series of terrible, terrible mistakes? They made a decision in a moment of fear, of confusion, and took a life. I don't think they were thinking about that situation when they were thinking of what's deserving and heavy in a murder case. I think they were thinking about people you've seen or heard, maybe the career criminal, someone who murders and takes a life for hate, for self-gain, who does so without remorse, who's never been a valuable member of society. I believe that's what they had in mind when they're thinking about sentencing someone to a long number of years, someone who has to be kept away from society because they're dangerous and will hurt people again. I believe that's what they had in mind. I think on the lower end, they're thinking of sometimes people make terrible, terrible mistakes. And they have to be held accountable, but their life shouldn't be over. They can still be recovered and they can still be valuable. All life is precious. Every individual killed in a murder case is a precious life. So we have this wide range of punishment. I would also ask you something similar to this in guilt, to keep focused just on this case. As you know, there's been immense media pressure, intensity, and scrutiny of this case. We know in this nation that there have been controversial police shootings. We know there have been citizens killed by police in unjust means, and that police officers have gone free that should have been punished. This causes lots of heartache. This causes passions to run high. But I'll ask you, no matter how you feel about those cases, don't bring that into the jury room on this case. Look at it in its own unique circumstances. This case is not those cases. Amber Guyger wasn't on duty. She didn't pull often John over. She didn't go there on a search warrant trying to break into his apartment. She just wanted to go home. And through these horrible series of events, she went into his apartment by mistake. She pulled that trigger in an instant she'll regret the rest of her life. She made a mistake, and yet we know by your verdict it was an unreasonable mistake. We accept that. But it was still a mistake. She didn't go there seeking to kill him. Last thing in her mind. You may hear from the prosecution that you need to send a message. When a prosecutor asks juries to send messages, it's usually about deterrence. You have to stop other people from committing crimes by a message on your sentence. I've done that myself when I was a prosecutor. I'll submit to you, those types of verdicts when you're asking for a message are for people who are planning to commit crimes. You have a cartel coming into your city, your county, that are planning out crimes. Yes, you want to send a message to those people if you find them and convict them. If you have an organized gang who rob and terrorize neighborhoods, yes, you want to send a message to them that they should not commit those types of crimes. If you have police officers who potentially get together or bribe or shake down citizens, yes, you want to send a message to those people because they are planning crimes. But this event wasn't planned. This event is so unique, you'll never see it again in the history of the United States. How fate could come together in such a terrible way. This could have changed at any moment as these events unfolded. But they didn't. And it destroyed two wonderful people. I'll ask you to review Amber Guyger's full life. See the good in her, the love her family has for her, friends have her, the love and the good things she's done. She was a public servant. She put her life on her line every day she went to work. I don't think anyone doubts she would have given it. We know before you start deliberations that Amber Guyger is a convicted felon. She'll be a convicted felon the rest of her life. We know she's going to go to prison. We know that she's a cop, an ex-cop who's going to go to prison. We know she's a cop that's going to go to prison for a crime that's been the most publicized in this county in years. And we know she can't hide there. You can imagine what awaits her. And if and when she gets out, she'll still be marked. She can't hide because of this case. She'll be shunned. She'll be a pariah. But it's nothing what punishment will be for herself. Because Amber Guyger has a conscience. She's shown true remorse. You've heard that from her friends, her family. You saw it on the stand. She feels horrible for what she did. And for the rest of her life, every day, every hour, every minute, she'll think of what she did to both of them, John, and regret it in every bit of her soul. Thank you.